Hey, everybody. Welcome to this bonus episode of Pink Shade. You guys, this is a real treat because normally we cover Welcome to Plathville on our $5 level of Prime, which is Supercast and Patreon. But because the premiere was coming out and I was going to be out for a surgery, I couldn't let it pass me by. I had to recap it with my buddy Amye here from Little Miss Recap. Amye, gird your loins. Are we ready?
I am super excited. Guys, what you need to know going into this is Mary Payne loves her some Micah,
I do.
and I love me some Ethan. This is how it goes.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah,
Mhm.
that's about how
And
it goes.
and nor do we understand one another. It's just
Makes for a good podcast. So here's the thing. Normally, this Welcome to Plathville will live over on Pink Shade Prime, which again is Supercast and Patreon, and links are below, blah, blah, all that. But for the premiere, we just thought, let's put it out as a bonus on the free feed. Now, if you are subscribing over there on the $5 level and you're like, hey, that's not fair because I'm paying for it, you're going to get it over there ad free. So it'll come
Mhm.
out the same time on the free feed. It'll come out over there ad free on that $5 level, which normally ad free is a $10 level. And if you're confused, just go over there and read the descriptions. I'm sorry, or just send me a DM. So anyway, after today, it'll be over there. But today for the premiere of season 5. Whoo! Season 5. Can you believe we're in season 5?
Season 5. And they did like a little recap of season 4. Did you take notes on that? Like that little recap at the
No.
beginning? Okay,
Mm-mm.
I
I,
have it. Shall I?
do it because I flew right past it. And then I've got something very important to talk to you about once we get through the preview of the previous seasons. Okay, go.
Okay. It's real
Okay.
real short. So, last season, if you guys remember, Kim was having a hot girl summer. She really was. She had that skirt on. She
Yeah.
was
Oh, yeah.
going all over town in that skirt and those wedges.
It was a
Um,
skort. How dare you?
it was a skirt. Barry had some feelings about the divorce. He was trying to, figure that out. Lydia wore makeup. That was scandalous.
Whew.
The kids went to Joshua's grave, and Moriah invited everyone, meaning Kim as
Mm-hmm.
well as Olivia.
Mm-hmm.
Olivia sat in the car. Ethan got mad and yelled at her on a street downtown. Olivia then told us she loved Kim, but Kim was using Ethan's credit cards to buy herself stuff when Olivia first came into the family, and Olivia shut that down, and Kim got
Mm-hmm.
angry about it. And
Mm-hmm.
then Micah and Moriah began to turn on Olivia. So that's where we are leaving the Plaths from season 4.
It's wild. It's wild. So I remember that story, whatever it was that
Mhm,
she told. This is one of many, many stories she has told about Kim.
mhm.
And by the way, Micah and Moriah and Ethan have kind of always been on board with agreeing with these things
Yeah, yeah.
until now. Okay, so this is season 5, episode 1, and I just need to know, how hot and horny are you for the title that is from Shakespeare? Is this
I
a
don't have a
dagger I
title.
see
I don't
before
have a
me?
title.
Is this a dagger I see before me from Macbeth?
Oh. Oh, I didn't I don't have a title because we got a screener, so I didn't know.
Yeah, I always
Oh
go and
my
look it up.
goodness.
So, for those of you who don't know about Macbeth, so is this a dagger I see before me? Is when Macbeth is wondering, is this knife real or is it its imagination? Is it is the full quote is this a dagger I see before me? The handle toward my hand, come, let me clutch thee. I have thee not, and yet I see thee still. So he doesn't know if it's an aberration because the bell has tolled. That means he's supposed to go and kill Duncan. So for so so
And
Amy,
Macbeth is in a real bad place. I mean, he is
yeah.
just everyone's coming for him. He's super paranoid. He doesn't know what's going to happen, and he doesn't know if he wants to strike out at Duncan or not.
Who is Macbeth? Is it Ethan?
Hmm.
Is it Ethan? Because
Yeah, I would say it's Ethan.
because when I went and looked at sort of like, the Cliff Notes version of what this really means, because, Shakespearean language is hard,
Mhm,
there's the
mhm,
literal contrast. It says there's the literal contrast of reality and Macbeth's imagination. So is it reality or imagination? And second, there's the metaphor of Macbeth's guilt and his doubt manifesting itself in a vision as he waits
mhm,
upon the signal from his wife, the toll
mhm.
and whatever. So then that put me down a real rabbit hole of for whom the bell tolls, it tolls for me, which is not from
Also a
Shakespeare and all.
wonderful book by Hemingway.
Yeah. But
So
also from a poem by John Donne.
I will say
Nerds, nerds,
that
nerds.
you could really make a case that Olivia has some Lady Macbeth quality to her. And
Mhm.
she's the string puller, which is how Lady Macbeth is perceived by some.
Uh-huh.
And so, it's kind of the battle for Ethan's conscience.
Yeah,
However, I'm Team Olivia through and through, and I will get to
me
why.
too.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing you can tell me that will
Nope.
change my mind about
Nope,
this.
me either.
Even Micah's hotness and Mariah's cuteness, nothing can change my mind.
No, Mary
Nothing.
Payne and I believe in Ethan and Olivia's love. We
We
always
do.
will. It's
Always have.
happening. Mm-hmm.
Mhm. So we start out with great pictures and videos of Ethan and Olivia's travels to Europe. Now we know they spent the whole summer in Europe, and we know that last season he promised that he would do things with her, like spend a month in different locations, spend a month in
Mm-hmm.
Paris, which they did.
Mm-hmm.
Then they
Yep.
traveled, they went back to Paris, and now they've decided they will spend a year in Minnesota. They agreed on that. So he's going through with this, agreeing
Yes,
to live in
because
different
he did
places.
not want to go to Tampa. She
Nope.
got him to go there. They spent, it sounds like their lease is almost up. I have that,
Yep.
I think this filmed in August of 2022. Do you agree?
Yes, because he said, "I thought she was gonna pay for September
Mm-hmm.
rent." Yeah,
Okay. So we're a year old here.
a year old. So we open with these great pictures and videos of their
Beautiful.
amazing, they've taken that Plath money and just
Put it
spent
to good use.
themselves a listen, they're young and they spend a whole summer in Europe. I mean,
Yeah.
this is it. They're making memories. This is a good thing.
Can you imagine having enough money that you just take the summer off from your family?
And just I mean, they're just over there like kidless,
Mhm,
living their
mhm,
best life.
mhm. Yep, yep.
So Ethan says, they've had a lot of things to work out. They had their parents' divorce. They've got this tenuous relationship with Micah and Moriah. The whole thing happened with the visit to Joshua's memorial, their brother that died. And she says she regrets the way she acted and feels like no matter what she does, Moriah and Michael will shit talk her, which is just such a switch because they were so tight.
Such a switch.
And this was a great point. She said, Ethan and I have come to the decision that there are too many people in our marriage, too many
Mhm,
opinions, and we need
mhm.
to do a better job protecting our marriage and working things out between us without others' opinions. We had this summer with just the two of us. We hope we can continue without everyone having input into our marriage. So of
Yeah.
course, going back to Cairo is going to be scary because Cairo and Tampa because they've been in this love bubble for like 3 months.
Yeah, they took the summer off.
Yeah,
I would love
I
to
just
take the summer off from Kim Plath. Done and
just
done.
from everybody over here at this house. All right, would you like to talk about what happens when we go to Micah's apartment? Because I don't know if I could say it without getting the vapors.
Yes, yes. So we get some, get your fan out, get your pink shade fan out.
Woo, girl, go
So
ahead.
we get some gratuitous Micah naked footage. I mean, he is living on his own now, guys. He's finally
Mhm.
moved into his own place. He's got no roommates for the first time in his life. He's lonely and he's seeing people, but he's not dating anybody regularly. So he is banging his way through LA. He's in Los Angeles still.
Yes, he
He says
is.
he's
Yes, he
been
is.
busy modeling, but it's freelance. So he's got enough time to dance around his apartment risky business style. Did you get that?
How could you not? It couldn't have hit you in the face any harder. Yeah.
So this week, he's heading to a gig in Miami, and he's glad because he wants to sit down with his parents and Moriah and talk about Olivia trashing Kim on the show. So if you guys remember in real life, after that episode aired where Olivia made her accusations towards Kim, all
Mhm.
of the siblings put out like this black screen of death, like, we love Mama Plath and how dare she, blah, blah, blah. They all did it. It was a coordinated effort. So he wants to talk
Mhm.
about it.
Mhm.
So basically, we hear more from Micah's point of view about the credit cards, but I'll let you kind of talk about that when you get to Olivia.
But what was the MLM? Because he says it involved an MLM company that my mom got Ethan involved in.
Okay, you want to do this? Okay. So
I
here's
wanna know
my
what the
theory.
MLM is.
Here's my theory, and I spent some time on the Reddit,
Oh,
which is
good.
the gospel.
Mhm. Mhm.
Everybody seems to agree. They don't know what MLM it is yet, but I think people are starting to try to piece it together. But everybody agrees that she put Ethan in her downline and then purchased shit on his credit card.
Oh, I agree with that, but what's
How?
the MLM? That's what I
Why
need to
is
know.
this so terrible? Like,
What do you mean? Why is it
no,
terrible?
like why would she do something so terrible? Like I have here, what is less evil? Okay? Using your kid's credit card or throwing them in your downline. Like those things are equally evil. I cannot even believe this. Could you
It was
imagine being
interesting,
stuck in a downline against your will?
and your mother is the head of the snake.
Scoot and panic put you in a downline.
Scoot and Panic would never put me in her down line.
So
Never.
because I don't really know how that works, but from what I understand in my limited knowledge of MLM, so Ethan is in Kim's downline, and the more Ethan buys, the more she gets, right? Like she gets a
Right.
percentage of what he sells.
Uh-huh.
So she was buying product on his credit card. I
So
don't
then
know.
she would get the kickback. Yeah.
Yeah. And Micah's like, "Oh, Ethan didn't complain. He was getting a good chunk of change at the end of every month." And
Mhm.
Olivia's a liar and she's been a negative cloud over everything. And he's like, "For a while we were team Ethan and Olivia, but that was the last straw. I am not going to let him sit here and trash my family. Mary Payne, come and get your boy. Come and get your
Uh,
boy." That's all I have to say.
yeah. Micah and Moriah decided it was a big manipulative game to Olivia,
Mhm.
and they're not going to allow her to throw shit at their family anymore.
Nope.
But here's the thing. He had this credit card, and Olivia marries him and is
Mhm.
like, "Hey, because we're married, let's look at these accounts and maybe we could like get a better interest rate. I don't know." And what's the
Mhm.
password to this credit card? He's like, "I don't know. It's my mom handles it." And she's like,
Mhm.
"What?"
Say what now?
Okay. So what? So yeah, he does. Ethan was happy with it. He was happy to get a paycheck at the end of every month.
Yeah.
Well, he was getting less of
Yeah.
a paycheck because mom was spending his money.
Yes. And he had to use that paycheck to pay off his credit card.
I mean, it's quite not teaching your children financial responsibility, I would say.
No, no, and I'm sure he didn't consent to it or even understand. He was probably a kid.
He didn't understand. When he got married, he was 20. You
Right.
think I could
And
explain this to my 18-year-old? He'd be like, "All right." I mean,
right, and your kids are more worldly than these kids. These kids knew nothing. They were 12 at 20.
yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
So now we're in Tampa. Mariah is in her. Did you notice every time they show Tampa, they make it red and then they go to blue? Not the other places, just Tampa. It's like Tampa
Yes.
is the devil. It's like, what is the editing choice here?
Uh,
Tampa. So Mariah, you know what Tampa reminds me of? It reminds me of those fun twins, Patrice and Patrika on
oh,
Extreme
yes,
Sisters.
they had
Everything
the
was
dream to go there.
Orlando.
Orlando. Mhm.
Yeah, Tampa.
Mhm.
Tampa is the dream of the Plaths. So Mariah is in her best Morticia Adams and her crisis hair.
I
This is
have
the
that she's really embracing the Interview with the Vampire set design in her apartment.
she sure is.
I'm expecting Brad Pitt vampire to creep out there from the corner.
Kirsten Dunst and her little creepy ass like peeking around with her little
Yes,
teeth. Um,
yes.
yeah, so this is the third set of crisis hair that I've seen this week. You guys, so she's got the crisis hair.
Mhm,
Crisis hair is when
mhm,
you dye your hair white blonde.
mhm,
Tom Schwartz of Schwartz and Sandoval and he's the cute one of the two Toms from Vanderpump
mhm.
Rules. Amy doesn't watch it, guys. He's
I
the
know who you're
cutest.
talking about, though.
Yeah, he's dyed. He's got crisis hair.
Mhm.
And people are like, they're showing pictures of like Tom Sandoval walking behind Tom Schwartz, and we're like, Sandoval has literally sucked all the color out of Schwartz, and now he's just. And then when I was at Podcast Moving, I saw Payne Lindsay, famous podcaster Payne
Mm,
Lindsay of Up
mm,
and Vanished, Tenderfoot Network.
mhm.
He has crisis hair too.
Okay, I'm gonna throw a fourth in there.
Okay.
Temptation Island's Mike the Autospace Engineer.
Yes.
Yeah, he's got a little crisis hair going on.
Crisis
Mhm,
hair.
mhm,
Jeez.
mhm.
You guys, white
Yeah.
platinum only works if you're a vampire. Only works if you're on Game of Thrones. So
Oh.
she's doing the dishes and she looks at the camera and goes, "Yeah, I'm doing the goddamn dishes. It's part of adulting. I've learned that the hard way." I was like, "Woo!" She said the GD.
Yeah.
Not a
Yep.
ooh.
Mhm,
And she's got this great loft that does look like a dream for a single girl place.
mhm.
Like it's got the little it's really, I'd like to live in that loft. And she says she loves having her own space. And you have to think these kids grew up like 8 to a room. And
Yeah. Yeah.
some of them were like living in the hallway.
Yeah.
And for
Yep.
them to have their
Some of
own
them were shoved
space,
in a prayer closet.
for sure. So then she says, I've graduated from bartending school. We see her doing some fun bartending tricks and becoming a
Mhm.
bartender. It's a fun life. And I've met the love of my life, which is her dog, Blackjack. Here's my question. She is 20.
Yeah.
Can you be a bartender when you're not 21?
Oh, I forgot she's 20.
She's 20. It says in her Chiron, 20.
Yes, you can. Well, I don't know if you can be a bartender, but I will tell you that in the state of Pennsylvania, you can
Uh-huh.
serve alcohol if you're 18.
Okay. So that was for them for sure in Florida you can.
Mm-hmm.
In
Oh,
Florida,
yeah.
yeah. So,
In Florida,
lot
it's a graduation requirement.
I always feel bad for our Florida bunkies. We shit on
Love you,
Florida
Florida
so bad,
bunkies.
but it's not your fault that you live there.
It's just
It's not my
wild.
fault. It's not my
It's
fault I'm from
wild.
Mississippi. People make fun of that too.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so she says she was living, as we remember, with Ethan and Olivia, and Olivia's sweet baby angel brother Nathan, who's 6'7". And she says, it was a hard year for me. I had that very bad breakup with Max, and then my parents got divorced, and then all the drama with Olivia. And then she reminds us about Olivia not going to Joshua's grave, sitting in the car, and the river trip when she wouldn't, meld with the family.
Mm-hmm.
And she says, it became obvious that it was all about Olivia. And everything changed when Olivia basically said my mom was stealing from Ethan. And that's not the whole story. Now, she says it's not the whole story. Micah says it's not true at all. And Ethan says it's 100% true.
I don't know if the whole story's any better, Mariah. If you're going to bring in the MLM as justification for this, that's not
No,
better. No.
not the whole story. So they all decided together to post on social media. Poor Isaac and Lydia had gotten an Instagram like the week before. Like, I
I
mean,
know. I
they
know. Now
they
they're
had
like,
never
we got
even
to be involved in this shit.
and we don't even social media. What's that? We've never even had a phone. And she says, we all decided to post on social media defending my mom. Otherwise, Olivia will go through life thinking she can just say and do whatever she wants. It's called freedom of speech.
Remember when
And
I texted you last night? I said, I don't know if my simmering, boiling rage will
uh
subside by tomorrow to record. Mm-hmm.
and I hadn't watched it yet. And I was like, I'm sure it's fine. Nope,
I
we're
was
furious.
furious.
So she says Ethan and Olivia don't even know she moved out. And
Yeah.
as far as Olivia goes, that was her best friend in the world. She's very sad, but this is what she needed. She needed to take a break. And she
Mm-hmm.
knows that might mean she'll have no relationship with Ethan. She's reached out to them many times, but they didn't write back. So she left a note. Now,
Mm-hmm.
shall we discuss what's happening with Max?
Max is getting married, correct?
Max got engaged in a rowboat on a pond, in a cement pond. No, just in a pond in the backwoods to a girl that's already got a baby.
Oh, so it's not his baby.
Not his baby.
Okay.
No.
All right. Fine. No
The
shade. But I thought they had a kid already. Because we're
the
so far
baby that you
behind in this timeline.
the baby that you see is like 2 years old that you see with
Okay.
them. And I
Okay.
believe when he met her, she had like a 1-year-old.
Okay.
And
Yeah,
it's
that was
like
pretty quick. Pretty quick.
love of my life, blah, blah, blah. Because it's only been
Mm-hmm.
a year. So it's only been a year. So
All these
she
crazy
that
kids out there getting married at like 20 years old. What are you doing?
I know. And he, remember after he left the Plath situation, remember he went on a real, it seemed to be a ganja journey into like the mountaintops of Colorado and was just out there, really out there
He was
dreadlocking
at
it up with the
Burning
people.
Man. He was doing van
Yes.
life. He was.
He was like, he followed some guru for a
Mhm,
while
mhm. I
that I
remember the
didn't.
guru. Yep.
Yes.
Mhm.
And now he's back to wearing Vineyard Vines polo shirts and proposing in a canoe.
Yep. Now he's back at boarding school proposing.
Uh,
Mhm. Mhm.
it's real weird. The whole thing's real weird.
He had a hot boy summer.
I mean, never forget. I mean, Lydia's like, "Is there still a chance?" All right, Amy, let's go over to Cairo.
Let's
Go to
go.
Cairo. Um, so, do you want to talk about Cairo? Because I know
Yeah,
we both have
I'll do
notes.
some Kim Plath and then you could
Yeah,
do
let's do
Barry
it.
and the kids. Okay.
Perfect.
So Kim is wandering around this empty apartment and she's like, Barry and I are still in the process of getting our divorce. So I left and I moved to an apartment because he would not leave.
hmm
And she says, for 25 years, Barry ran the finances. All except her scheme that she had gone out with Ethan. You know, she was
Yeah,
running
except
that.
for that. Except for her Mary Kay business she had at the farm. Yeah.
Now she has to do it, and it's overwhelming. And she says, and the teacher in me just bristles at this next statement. The girls and Isaac come over for homeschooling. Who
Mm.
is letting Kim Plath homeschool their children?
It didn't
Okay.
work for the older ones, but apparently maybe she thinks it's gonna work for the younger ones in an apartment that apparently has, like, 1 bedroom and no
Yeah.
table for them to sit
Yeah.
at. Yeah.
So she said the girls and Isaac come over for homeschooling and then they hang out and sometimes they go home and sometimes they don't. And then she says, it is lonely being here, but I was lonelier in my marriage. And I knew by leaving Barry that I was risking losing friends, the
Mhm.
respect of the conservative Christian community, Quiverful,
Mhm.
the respect of my children, but it was
Mhm.
worth the risk because have you seen Barry? He's pretty fucking awful. That's pretty much what she says. And that's what we
Ah.
see in her little hot girl apartment.
Yeah, and she goes and sits on the world's tiniest couch with the world's
Mhm.
tiniest coffee
Mhm.
table in her,
Mhm.
God bless, I'm wearing them right now too, her Birkenstocks, and she's just flitting around, and I was like, that place could be really cool."
Yeah,
You
there was
need
like
some
an
rugs.
echo. It has super tall
Yes.
ceilings.
Yeah, you need rugs, you couldn't podcast in
Yeah.
there, that's for
Yeah.
sure.
Mm-mm.
Alright, so now we're flipping over to, Paris. I didn't do this recap in order of town, I went exactly how it went
Mhm.
because
Mhm.
because for this premiere episode, we gotta recap it as
Yeah.
it goes.
Yeah.
So we're back in Paris, France, and not Paris, Texas, and
Mm.
Ethan and Olivia are at a coffee shop. Ooh, oui, oui, oh, croissant, woohoo,
Oui,
Americano,
oui.
cappuccino, oui, oui. And Ethan is flying home today, and she's taking a week to go to the Netherlands with a friend. He says when he goes home, he's got to deal with the whole Moriah and Micah thing, and he's sick of dealing with these problems. He's just had it. And Ethan says, "Look, that whole social media thing came out, and I had to really take a walk. Like, I'm gonna be honest, I was really pissed. I was
Mhm.
very disappointed in Moriah and Micah. He was disappointed for Moriah and Micah for going along with it. So he thinks Moriah instigated it, and
Mhm.
Micah went along with it.
He's probably not wrong.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So in the talking head, Ethan says, "Look, there are 2 sides to the coin, and just because she, meaning Mariah, just because she doesn't like it, didn't mean it didn't happen. And
Mhm.
what Olivia said happened, happened. There's no disputing it. It
Yeah.
was a big problem, but me, Olivia, and my mom worked it out in a way that I felt was made amends for what she had done wrong."
Here's the thing. Ethan's probably in a tough spot because he's probably like, it was true and
Yeah.
it happened. I just wish Olivia didn't tell the entire world about it. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's where he's at, I think.
Yeah. Yes, but I think
I
them
get it.
spending this 3 months away together, she was able to really explain it, and he's able to really hear it without all the noise of the show, and they could really be anonymous in Europe.
Well, and
So,
she needed to say it, Mary Payne, because everybody just thought she was being ridiculous and just hated Kim for no reason. And
just
she
get over
needed to
it.
say it.
Yeah.
Yep, she
It's your
needed to say it.
mother-in-law. Who doesn't hate their
Mm-hmm.
mother-in-law?
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's got that problem, whatever.
Yep.
By the way, I didn't hate my mother-in-law. I loved her. She was great.
I love my
So,
mother-in-law too.
that's good. So, in the talking head, Olivia says, "Listen, when somebody, meaning herself, when someone is asked over and over again why you don't have a good relationship with someone, and then when you finally tell the reasoning that only applies to yourself, doesn't apply to anybody else, and then they
Mm-mm.
say, 'Well, okay, that's not true and you're a liar. Get over it and grow up.'"
Mm-hmm.
But I know what I experienced, and I know what I lived through, and I know why I have set the boundaries that I have.
Yeah.
Good. So back at the coffee shop, Olivia says to Ethan, "I know that we're on the same page, but I want to be sure that that is stated," meaning she wants to
Mm-hmm.
be sure Ethan tells them, "I align with my wife." And we have been over here and we've been able to work through all our stuff with no drama. And Ethan says, "I just want to get back home and get it over with, get all that drama over with because it's going to happen."
I
I
know I
hope that
say this all the time, but
yeah,
Ethan reminds me so much of my husband because my husband will just do anything to avoid drama. He
Yeah.
hates drama. And I'm like, you live with 3 women, like, and 2 teenage girls. I don't know what to tell you, dude. Drama's
It's
gonna occur.
it's
Like, if
never gonna get better.
the girls will, like, slightly push back, like, "Oh, could our curfew be 11 instead, 10:30?" And he'll be like, "Why is all the drama going on?" I'm like, dude.
You don't even know drama. Oh, that's like you said your one of your daughters has had a problem with a boyfriend, and he'll come in and be like, "Why can't you just have self-respect?"
Yes. It's like, no.
That's
It's like,
not gonna solve it. She's a
no,
teenager.
no,
Yeah.
no.
Oh god. You guys, do you have little ones in your house? Little Spoon has something for all size baby. They've got little babies all the way up to toddlers. Little Spoon is a one-stop shop for healthy, easy meals and snacks for little babies, toddlers, and big kids. And it is delivered right to your door, which is something we all need these days. There are the baby blends, which is obviously baby food. There are biteables, which is like a transition to finger foods, when the kids are going from one thing to the other. Then there's platables, which are toddler and big kid meals. And then there's the smoothies that come in those cute little pouches. So I had some Little Spoon sent to my nephew, James, sweet baby James. He's so adorable. I've got 2 more babies coming in my family soon, but I digress. Anyway, James agreed to be a taste tester. He's super picky, and his mom told me that he loved the plates. He especially loved the mac and cheese. The mac and cheese has hidden veggies. Don't tell James. And he also loved the strawberry banana shake smoothie. I mean, that sounds good to me, let's be honest. Little Spoon makes everything fresh and uses absolutely nothing artificial. It's just like homemade, all delivered to your door and ready in seconds. Pop your meals in the fridge or the freezer when they arrive and then use them when you're ready. It's that easy. You guys think about like after school or at that witching hour at like 5:30 and you got to quickly make dinner and you've got screaming toddlers and babies. I've been there and I really, really wish Little Spoon was a thing during that time of my life. It totally could have helped me. From the baby food all the way to the big plates, it ranges from $3 to $7 a meal. And again, if this was around when I had Anna and John, it would have helped me a lot. I wouldn't have had to like walk around with John and a baby Bjorn while I was trying to make dinner while Anna was like throwing blocks at my head. It just would have been great. So make this year's back to school chaos a little more manageable and time saving, delicious and healthy with meals and snacks your kids will love. You're going to go to littlespoon.com/pink shade. Enter our code, which is pink shade. When you enter that, you're going to get 30% off. Y'all, that's a lot. So Little Spoon, LITTLESPOON.com/pink shade and enter our code pink shade for 30% off at checkout. And let me know if your kids like it. You guys, guess what's coming? The MTV Music Video Awards coming on Tuesday, 8/7 Central. You don't want to miss music's most iconic night. There's going to be unbelievable live performances from your favorite artists like Anita, Doja Cat, Carol G, Lil Wayne, Måneskin, Tomorrow Went Together, and so many more. And don't miss Demi Lovato's 6 years in the making return to the VMA stage. I love Demi Lovato. Plus, this year's video vanguard is Shakira. She's going to bring the house down with a career spanning performance. And Diddy, Puff Daddy? No, Diddy takes home this year's Global Icon Award. But the party doesn't stop there. Who will take home Moon Person for Video of the Year? Is it going to be Doja Cat, Miley Cyrus, Sam Smith and Kim Petras, or Taylor Swift or SZA? My bet's on Taylor Swift. So tune in to the MTV Video Music Awards on Tuesday, September 12th, 8/7 Central. So Ethan says he really hopes he and Moriah will be able to just go on a walk and talk it through. And if you have a problem, the solution is not to post it on social media for the world to see. It just adds more of the same drama.
Yes. Yes.
All right. So back in Cairo, since you want me to talk about Barry, here we go. Barry, well, we can't call him Slender Man anymore because he's really bulked up. We're going to have to come up with a new. He looks a little bit like Mr. Incredible.
He does. I was Googling real skinny guy with big muscles last night to try to figure out, because there is something that he looks like that I can't place.
It's
But
the tiny
that didn't
head.
help. That didn't help.
It's I think it's Mr. Incredible. It's the tiny head and the big body. So
yes.
and the hat and the glasses and the and his dumb face. So Barry's made dinner and he's asking the kids, So, kids, how's this dinner? How do you think? And they're like, yeah, it's good, Dad. It's great. And he goes, but what's the best thing about the dinner? And they go, it's good, Dad. The roast is really good. Well, it's just the right amount of seasoning. Like, you're not going to get what you want.
Yeah. Like,
They
stop, dude.
just,
Stop.
it's food and they're putting it in their body. And he says, well, yeah, a lot has changed. New locations for everybody. And I don't see Kim that much, but we're settling into our separate lives. And, there was a time where I could see myself going down that road and getting depressed. But, the kids are so great and I'm stable. They didn't let me go there. And I'm just moving forward. I'm Barry. So, oh, he's so gross, Amy. He's
He's
so
so
gross.
creepy. I mean, he would just come out of the woods and I would like jump 10 feet. Like, he's so scary.
We could barely agree with Kim Plath on anything, but leaving Barry was the right decision.
Yes.
We agree on
Yes.
that.
Yes. And he is so like, I don't even trust this whole like, my kids got me through it. I think he's just manipulating. Like, he's using
Yes.
the camera, using the show to be like,
Yes.
look at me, I'm the good guy. Whatever, dude.
Yes. Yes.
Go to the gym.
So at so at the table, Lydia goes, "So, Dad, how are you?" And he goes, "Lydia, great. I'm moving forward." And
Mhm.
Isaac goes, "Yeah, Dad, going to the gym a lot." And he goes, "Yeah." And Isaac goes, "Yeah, Dad, you're just getting massive. My friends are there, and like your dad's there every day." He's like, "No, no, like 3 days a week. Don't
Poor
be
Isaac. He's
afraid.
really working hard for that PlayStation 4, isn't he? Oh my God.
Please just let me get an iPhone." Um, And then he tells us, yeah, I just started out as like a fun thing to do to get my mind off my troubles, but lifting weights is like a release. Now it's gained a life of its own. Now the blood flows in and you get bigger. Ah, it's fun.
Well, he actually
Ew.
says, isn't it fun to watch when the blood pumps into somewhere and it gets bigger? And the production team is like, yes, got it. They were like, they just got a raise when they captured Barry saying that gross statement. Oh,
Oh,
God.
God.
Does he even know? Like, is he aware of what he's doing? I don't even know.
Yes. Yes. We'll go back to my theory of on his lunch break in Tampa, he goes and puts on a diaper and lets somebody spank him.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah, yep.
So, talking head, Lydia goes, we're doing good because my dad is doing good. And when the head of the house is strong, it trickles down to the rest of the house. Amen. I'll be in my prayer closet.
And her saying we're doing good is just further evidence that Kim Platt should not be homeschooling these kids because it's well. But whatever.
We're doing gooder than we
We're
were
doing
last
good.
year.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
All right. Would you like to now talk about Tampa and when Ethan arrives home?
Oh yeah, let me get up there. Okay, where am I? Where am I? I kind
Ethan
of
has
have it all
arrived.
mixed together. Okay,
I'm sorry.
so Ethan comes home and the house is empty. And now we saw in the super teaser that he's like, I came home and there was a letter and she was gone. And we all thought it was about Olivia, but it was about Moriah.
Of course. TLC,
So,
they always do us
yep.
dirty.
So Moriah has like chicken scratched this letter like, Dear Ethan, my soul is whatever. And she wrote that
I
she's
didn't even, I didn't screenshot it and try to read it. Did you?
No, I did not.
I did.
It's a
Okay.
handwritten note, and Ethan is frustrated because she left, and he's like, I'm going to give her some time to cool down because I'm heated. And I thought he looked so cute when he was all flustered and his cheeks were all
Of
red, and
course.
he's like, "Rah, rah, rah."
He
And
needs to
he's like,
he needs to trim the beard, Amy. I know you love him and you're hot for Ethan, but the beard needs to be trimmed a little. It's a
a
little
little,
mountain
a
man. A
little,
little.
a
Yeah.
little. So he's like, I do want to reach out to Mariah. We do need to talk about this, but tensions are high right now. I need to give her a couple days because we all know I hate the drama. Hate the drama.
Yeah.
So now Nathan comes in,
I
10
do
foot
I do
tall.
I do want to say one thing. He did say he is frustrated and surprised by her packing it all up. He's very surprised she kept it clean because she's a slob.
Yep.
He said, but her packing it all up and leaving a note is a bit theatrical,
Yes, he did say
which is a good use of the word theatrical from Ethan. Yeah.
yes. So Nathan is 10 feet tall. He comes in ducking through the doorway. He comes in and Ethan's like, Where's Mariah? And Nathan's like, Dude, I don't know. I was like down at the river with my bros and she just texted me and said, I'm out. Peace out. She just literally peaced out. He drives home. She's got a moving truck there. She's moving her shit. She's gone.
Yeah.
So Ethan is like, I thought she was going to pay September. Like, this is
Mhm.
really. First of all, before I saw Nathan was still living there, I was enraged that she just abandoned the property. But then I found out Nathan
Right.
was there. So Nathan tells the camera, like, I don't know what happened, but Moriah just left. She didn't explain anything, nothing. She just was like, bye. So now he and Nathan get out on their motorcycles and they have some bro time on their hogs riding down the street.
Yeah, he says, Ethan says, "I'm tired of this nonsense. I'm tired of
Yep,
being, stuck
tired
in the
of it.
middle." And they have decided to move to Minnesota so he could spend more time with his grandparents. And he tells Nathan, this is where we're getting the story about where he's going to be for the next couple
Oh,
months. He
yes, I'm
says,
sorry, I missed that whole part. I have it here, but yeah. Yeah.
yeah, he just
Yes.
tells Nathan he has 2 cars and he says what they
Mhm.
are, but we don't know what that means. He has to get them fixed in Cairo before they could move. So he's going to spend a month or 2 just working on these cars. And I don't know if he's doing it for fun or like for a client.
No,
Do you know what I
no,
mean?
this is yeah. Listen, my husband's a car guy. That's why Ethan reminds me so much. He's so like Timmy is very smart, and so is Ethan. I'm not saying he's simple minded, but he's very simple in what he likes to do. Like, put
Yeah.
Timmy in a garage, you lose him for 17 weeks. So he's
Yeah.
got to fix these cars because they're not drivable, and he needs them to be drivable to either take with him or to sell.
Okay, that's what I'm trying to figure out.
Hmm.
Are these cars that, like, a client gave him to redo and he just hasn't had the time or
No,
whatever?
because remember he bought one and Olivia flipped out because he bought it
Oh, yeah.
without asking her.
He's like, "Surprise, new car that doesn't even roll."
Yeah.
Um, and then Nathan goes, "Do you wanna see my motorcycle?" And Ethan goes, "Sure." He goes, "It might make you feel better if we could just ride these motorcycles because I
Yeah.
see right here I got a new motorcycle." He wants to get on those. Okay, Nathan is so soft-spoken. Did you notice when he
Mhm.
came in the house, he wouldn't look at the camera, the floor, he was
Yeah. Yeah.
he's 19 years old, living
Yeah.
on his own, kicked out of his fundy
10 feet
family,
tall.
10 feet tall, and don't forget, in the off season, he got a DUI.
Oh, I forgot about that. Mm,
Mhm. I don't know if he was drinking with Kim because she also got a DUI.
I know she did. I wonder
Wound
if
up
we'll
in a
see that. Do you
ditch.
think we'll see that?
Yeah, we'll have to see. She wound up in a ditch with, like, water filling the car, like she was gonna
Yeah.
drown in the car. She couldn't get
Yeah.
out.
Yeah.
And then she said, "I only had 2 margaritas," but, I mean, if they're any size of the margarita that I had with my daughter last weekend, it is as big as your head.
I mean, 2
Yeah.
margaritas will have Amye Archer driving off the road into a lake, let me tell
I
you.
I I
On a
will be
cheap
in a
date.
lake. Yeah, I mean, really.
Mhm.
Alright, so, back in Cairo, Kim and Barry and Moriah and Micah are all there at the house, and 2 of the younger kids, I don't know which ones because they're not featured much this episode. They come into the kitchen, children of the corn, the minions, "Oocha baka da bada wow," and then they walk out. Micah tells his parents, they go outside to sit, and they're like, "We came over, like, we wanna talk to you." So
That is a
Micah
beautiful house, isn't it? It is a beautiful
it
house.
it is a beautiful house
Mhm.
with a prayer closet.
Mhm.
Um, Micah tells his parents he's sorry for anything he did as a surly teenager, and he was wrong, and maybe he was influenced. And Olivia has always talked crap about the family, and Ethan has absorbed a lot of it. And Mariah goes, "Yeah, and it knocked his confidence down." And Barry goes, "That's called brainwashing."
Brainwashing. You know what? Micah says is a little more nefarious than that, though. He says, Olivia would introduce things to us, new things under the guise of like, oh, this is so cool. But really, what she was trying to say is, look at how cool this is, and you have such a shitty life.
Mhm.
Mm.
Yeah. So I think this is where he says this. He says, "Olivia made me think my upbringing was horrible,
Yeah.
and that influenced Mariah and I think he said me and Mariah, and I've realized that my parents did a lot of things right. We grew up with the outdoors and learning how to make things with our hands, and we had access to all these animals, and I was able to own my own cows because my mom took my credit card and bought them for me. Um, and I'm thankful for a lot of that. Now listen, I agree with that. I think growing up like that with like build things
Sure.
by your hands, be outdoors, have part of that indoor outdoor lifestyle would be great if you were also getting like a real education where you could pass a GED on the first try
Yeah.
and
I
go to
mean, the
college if you want to.
two things can be true. Like I always say, two things can be true. That
Yeah.
that part of their childhood could have been great, but they also missed so much that left them at a real deficit when they entered the real world.
That's right. They total. So,
Mhm.
I mean, I want Micah to remember when he meets new people and how they look at him like, "What? You've never heard of Tom Brady, or you've never heard of baseball?" I mean, you know what I mean? Like, do you know who Celine Dion was? Like, basic things that people in the world know. He's like, "Nope, no idea." And this is not because Olivia put that in his head. This is because when you go to the outside world, when you've been raised like this, people will treat you like you're a weirdo. I've told this story a million times about at some time, my sister-in-law was not letting her 3 kids that were probably 6, 5, and 4 watch television at all. Like, no
Mhm.
Dora the Explorer,
Mhm.
nothing. They would come home from their little preschool, whatever, and it was just, classical music and crossword puzzles, I don't know.
Mhm.
And then they would come to our house, and if the TV was just on, even if it was on just like HTV or something, the
Mhm.
3 of them, like minions, would en masse go up to the TV, "Ooh,
Ooh,
ah."
ah.
And,
Yeah.
one time they did that, the kids all walked up to a TV like they'd never seen it at a family member's house, and my father-in-law, who's pretty blunt, said to his daughter, my sister-in-law, "You're gonna have to let them watch TV, they act like weirdos." Like, you know? They can't just be
Yeah.
going up to TVs like it's like an alien spaceship every time you're gonna have to let them watch TV in the
Let me
house,
let
you
me
know?
tell you something. You could try to keep that shit. You could try to keep social media and all that shit away from your kids, but like Jeff Goldblum told us in Jurassic Park, life will find a way. It just
Yeah,
finds a way. The best thing to do is do it in moderation and monitor it. That's all you can do.
yeah,
You can't
yeah.
protect them forever. They're going to lack basic skills when they get out there in the world.
So this is what's annoying to me is Micah's acting like Olivia did all this, but just remember when you've met other people that aren't Olivia, they're like,
Yeah, they
"What?"
react the same way, dude. Yeah.
Yeah.
And let's
So,
remember, they none of them, like you just said, none of them can pass a basic GED test.
mm-mm,
And we know
no.
they're smart people. We know they're smart people.
Obviously,
Mhm.
you have to have skills to do a lot of the things they do.
Yep.
But let's go on back to season 1. Hosanna got all these scholarships to college for music, but she didn't need to go because you don't need that head learning.
Women don't
You
need book
don't
learning.
you
Mm-mm.
don't need head learning. You're just going to be
Mm-mm.
a wife and pop out children. That's all you're here for.
Ugh.
Who cares if you're a musical genius? Don't use
Yeah.
that talent.
Yeah.
So, in their talking head, Moriah says, Olivia said a bunch of things about my parents for years, and it's gotten worse, and lies are being told, and I just want to do my part to make things right. So Mariah says to her mom, in a obviously very staged thing, that credit card thing, she just used a made up story to validate her big emotions. And she has felt this way about our family and you and dad. And I have all this and she had all this hate and anger that she was spewing towards you guys, and she needed to make herself feel valid. And it makes me mad because I sat by her side for years telling her she was valid because you can have different feelings, but I can't tolerate the lies. And she has every right not to like somebody and not be around them and not align with their values, but to try to make the whole world feel the same way, meaning telling that credit card story. Kim says, I was so grateful for all the kids posting that statement, on my
She
behalf. It just
cried.
really
She
was great.
cried.
She had a moment. And Barry's over
Now,
there.
Mary
Boom, boom,
Payne,
boom, boom, boom. Yeah.
they give Kim a full confessional. Okay, here's the camera. Tell your
Tell your
side of the
story.
story. And what does she
Yep.
do?
I've told my truth. I have my truth and they
My
have
truth.
theirs. I
Mhm.
have I
Mhm.
have my truth and they have their truth. And
Mhm.
I'm not going to fight a battle. I'm tired of constantly defending
Mhm.
myself and what they say about me.
Mhm.
Okay.
So you
So
didn't you can't explain yourself because you can't explain it.
it would
Cuz
be so
Ethan and
easy.
Olivia are right.
It would be so easy to go. Ethan
Mhm.
and I were in a business together and we had a shared credit card. And it wasn't just his credit card, it was for both of us to use for a shared business. And that could explain the whole thing. But
And
she's not saying that.
what a lot of these kids don't understand, and I'm speaking from experience here because not to get too personal, but I was in a very similar situation with an ex of mine. Large family, very dysfunctional. My ex was the oldest, right?
Mhm.
The older kids always see what's really going on. Ethan
Yeah,
sees what's going on. Like the younger kids were shielded from a lot of that. So their
right.
perceptions of things are warped. That's why I believe Ethan. Hashtag believe Ethan.
And also, I think, in my opinion, it's a reason we never see Hosanna.
Nope.
'Cause she's the oldest girl, and she
Yeah.
was Lydia before Lydia was Lydia. She had
Yeah.
to do all the cleaning, all the cooking. She was Cinderella in the kitchen,
Mhm.
and then finally she escaped, and then it fell on Lydia, and Lydia is
Yeah.
still in that role. Moriah got the fuck out of there.
Well, it fell on Mariah. Mariah was like, "Meh, you take care
She
of
was
this,
like,
Leah."
I don't like to do dishes. I gotta go." So, so she doesn't explain it, and Barry
Mm-mm.
says back to the table outside, Barry says, it's clear with Olivia. It's my way or the highway." And Micah says Micah says, "A friend shouldn't be conditional. A friend should just be a friend." And Moriah says, "I feel that I had to choose and I chose my family."
Mm.
And then Micah it was just so disappointing in Moriah. And
But
Micah
this is
said,
very, very common in toxic families. They're gonna
"Yeah, suck
Yep.
you back in." Yep.
Yep.
And Micah says, my parents' divorce really made me think about family and relationships and being together and being apart. And yeah, Olivia is my family, but I would not choose her over everyone else. And
Mhm.
I think it came down to Kim and Barry probably saying, if you're going to align yourself with them, just like he said to Ethan and Olivia, you will not see these 8 other children.
Yeah. Yeah.
Isaac's not coming over. You can't see Lydia because I still
Mhm.
control them because they're under 18.
Yeah. It's sad. It's really sad.
All right, let's discuss this final scene back in Tampa when Olivia is home.
Mhm.
So, are they looking at? It seems like they're looking at like something for the countertop, but it's like rolled up vinyl.
Yeah, it looks like it is for Micah, kind of, like, they
Uh huh.
probably have to they're coming to the end of their lease, so there might be a scratch or a nick, and
Yeah,
Ethan's just gonna lay that back out and replace it.
yeah. But I was like, it looked like the same as the countertop.
Yeah, it
The
is.
countertop like
For
granite.
Micah is the countertop. No, that was a
It-
fake granite. That was not
So it's like a
granite.
fake. So it's like a fake granite. Okay, because
Mhm,
I was
mhm.
rolled up. I was like, you can't roll up granite. Last time I checked.
No, 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 that's just I think it's called Formica. You glue it onto what
The
like, you
top.
glue it down. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So in her talking head, Olivia says, my feelings about the whole thing with Mariah are really complex. She was my best friend. So, of course, I'm really sad, but I'm also angry. And then we see them sitting together, Olivia and Ethan. And Ethan explains that he's going to Cairo for a couple of months to work on his cars. And she understands the importance of this, the importance of getting it done. Where in the past, he said it would be 1 or 2 arguments about it,
Mhm.
and they have obviously worked all this out. She understands the importance of him getting this done, but she feels like super nervous and anxious about him leaving. And I get it because they've had this time together, and she feels like once he gets over there with them, he's going to ditch her, you know?
I get it too, and I think she's probably just like and he probably said to her, "Look, this is my last tie to them. Like, let me go up
Yeah.
there, let me knock this out, sell them, be done."
These
And,
2 cars. Yeah.
yeah. Mhm. Although he could just get a car trailer, trek them across the country, rent a garage, and work on them out there. But anyway.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
So in the kitchen, she's kind of crying about him leaving. And she's like, I've told him that my worst fear is how he does not communicate with me when he's in Cairo. And
That's
he says,
wild. Remember we saw some of
yeah.
that?
She's like, she can't get him for days,
No, days.
days.
Could you
And it's
imagine,
like,
like, Dave goes off and you don't hear from him for days?
she has to like call the shop where he works and get that person to go track him down like it's the old timey days when people don't have phones.
It's so
And
weird.
he says he's really working on it. He promises. And she goes, that's just my main fear. You won't communicate. He goes, I promise
Yeah.
I'm going to call you every day. And he hugs her and he says, once the cars are done, we'll be ready to move to Minnesota and we'll be together. And
Yeah.
she says, but what about all that family stuff? And he goes, yeah, there's so much work to do there. I
Mhm.
don't know if
Mhm.
I'll have time to deal with the family stuff. Like there's so much work to do on these cars.
Yeah.
And he says, the social media post was a nail in the process of us dealing with it.
Yeah.
And I can't go there and solve it. I can't change anyone's minds in the time that I
Mm-mm.
have.
Mm-mm.
And then she goes, yeah, it's easy for you to just say it because it's not as hard on you because they're not all mad at you.
Yeah.
Like no matter what, they'll still accept him. And and then the final scene is they're in a talking head together and she says, I have a lot of trust for Ethan. I do. I trust Ethan completely. And that's kind of new too, because I think she in the past
Mhm.
maybe didn't, not
But he
cheating wise,
stepped
but
up.
just
He stepped
yeah.
up.
He did what he said he would do.
Yeah,
He
she trusts
traveled with
his
her,
loyalty.
yes.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
In
and she
regards to
says
the family, yeah.
yeah, and she says, "I have a lot of trust for him, I do, but not so much the other people that are there." And then in the kitchen, they kinda hug and cry, and she says, "I'm gonna go pack, and I don't wanna talk anymore." It's, like, really sad.
And at one point, she says, and this resonated with me because, again, I was in this situation. She said, I have given so much of myself to this family, and it's so
Mhm,
hurtful that they've all turned their
mhm,
backs on me. And I just feel so bad for her because, I mean, blood is thicker than water. Like a toxic family is always going to choose each other over you. And it's sad.
mhm.
It's really sad. Thank
I
God
have to tell
Ethan
you
is, thinking straight.
yeah, and I think that just for over the years that we've covered this, and I just wanna remind people, if you're new to Plathville, here are the ages of the children, okay? Hosanna is 25. I wanna say Barry is 54 and Kim is, like, 51.
Mm-hmm.
So they got Barry had been married before, we know that. We
Yes.
don't know if he has kids from that marriage, I'm not sure. Um, Hosanna, currently 25. Ethan, 24. Micah, 21. Moriah, 20. Lydia, 18, but I believe she's gonna be turning 19 this season. Isaac, 16, turning 17. Joshua, who died, would have been 15. Then we have a 3-year gap after Joshua died because we know she took to the bed for like a year with
Mm-hmm.
severe depression.
Mm-hmm.
Then they quickly had in succession Amber, Cassia, and Mercy. They are currently 13, 12, and 11. And we
Mm-hmm.
will call those the forgotten children because anybody
Yeah.
under Isaac, they don't care about.
Yeah. No. Mm-mm.
Amber, Cassia, and Mercy, I don't know which one's going to take to the poll first, but they have, they are so ignored. They are so
So
ignored.
if you remember last maybe 2, 3 months ago, a statement came out from supposedly from Olivia's sister saying that they were getting divorced, Olivia and Ethan. So
You and I didn't
Olivia,
believe it. We don't believe it.
I don't believe it, but I did find a response. So Olivia responded in People magazine. And she
Oh,
said, "A friend of
official.
me." She said, A friend informed me of this post, so I wanted to take a second and clarify. Sophia is my younger sister, but her and I, it should be she and I, have a
Mhm.
very distant, strained relationship due to our worldviews and reactions to the ultra religious world we were raised in. Subsequently, she actually isn't a reliable source when it comes to my personal information, as she doesn't know about my personal life. There's a lot of speculation going around, but if Ethan and I had something to share, we would. Thanks. So it's not like a no, we're not getting divorced, but
Mhm.
it's like a that's not an accurate source. And then I did snoop on her Instagram, and she is in Minnesota, and she's at a wedding, and Ethan was with her.
Yeah, they've been in Minnesota. When they
Mm
moved to
hmm. Mm
Minnesota,
hmm.
I was like in my mind, I was like, "No way they moved to Minnesota. That's weird."
So
But then
I
I
think
kind of
they're
forgot
okay.
that I think Barry's got family there. I think they're like
Yeah.
she's like, "Okay, we did Paris for 3 months,
Mm hmm.
Minnesota for 1 year. After that,
Mm hmm.
maybe Texas for 1 year." Like, they're really gonna move all around, and they're so young. They could do whatever.
Yes, they can.
They're 24 years old.
Yes.
They could live this
Live
nomadic
it up,
lifestyle
guys.
till they're
Live it up.
30.
They
I
need to do
mean,
some
and
van life.
oh my, they would be great at van life because if it broke down, Ethan could fix it. Olivia
Yep.
could make it real homey and cute.
Yep. They would be
Yeah.
great at it. Yep.
And what'd you think about Olivia's Luke? Because she's gone back to that natural blonde hair.
I mean, I think Olivia is stunning. I didn't love the dark hair on her. I think I like
I
her
liked
better as a
as
blonde. You
blonde.
like the dark?
I like the red hair.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's what I mean. Yeah. The
Yeah, I
reddish brown.
liked it, but yeah, because I liked it because she was like, now people don't always ask if we're a brother and sister.
Right.
Incest. Yeah.
I like her natural crisis hair.
Yeah, it
Hmm.
is crazy that those kids, they're sitting at the table and it's just like blonde, 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 blonde. It's just like when Max
I
came
know.
in, that's probably the kids are like, "What? We've never seen this color hair before."
I know. I know. And Barry's like, I made a roast. Oh, I hate him so much. And Ethan, or no, Isaac's like, my friends are all talking about how jacked you are. Like, what did we pay
Ew.
this kid? Jesus Christ. I'm so sure the kids are sitting around talking about how Jack Barry is. They're probably like, ew, what is happening there to your father?
Why is this old guy at our gym? Ew. Oh my lord. Well,
It's gonna be a good season. It's gonna be good.
we see yeah, I'm just trying to remember some of the things we saw from the Super Teas that are gonna come up. I mean, we know that Mariah's gonna get another giant black tattoo on her arm to go with the one that
And
says Black Heart.
and we see her getting baptized.
Yeah, that was interesting because obviously she
Mhm.
is already baptized.
Because I thought she was doing the Virginia Wolf walking into the river, but then you see Barry like, "Ooh!" So he's gonna
Mm.
baptize her, and then Ethan gets a mysterious call from her, and she's like, "Just remember, I love you." That's why I thought, like, "Oh my God, is she in danger?"
Of course
And
not. They're just making
yeah,
you think that. Yeah.
yeah. So, and then we see Olivia's sisters coming into the picture, and her sister's name is Lydia, right?
Yeah, and then we also see a brother of hers who is wearing makeup.
No, that's what's his name, Nathan. That's
Oh,
Nathan. Yeah,
are you
they're
sure?
throwing makeup on Nathan. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Oh, I thought it
Yeah.
was another brother that she had that maybe, um, huh,
Oh,
identified differently.
TBD. I was like 90% sure it was Nathan, but I could be wrong.
Well, I would like to know if during the season we're gonna find out about Nathan's DUI and
Mhm.
if we're gonna
Kim's
find out
DUI.
about Kim's DUI, where she literally
Mhm.
did almost die.
Oh,
Yeah.
and Kim's gonna get a hot date.
Oh, yeah, Kim's gonna get a hot date. Yeah. Do you
Oh
think
god.
I don't do we think that Kim was a virgin when she married Barry? I don't think so. I
No,
think
I don't think
sh
so. It sounds like she was pretty, and no shade, but it sounds like she was pretty active in college. Because remember, that's
Yeah,
why she was like,
good
"I
for
need to
her.
raise you guys like nuns," because I was out banging around.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. 'Cause she was
Mhm.
definitely, like, drinking those margaritas and stuff,
Mhm.
because when she first last season went out with Micah, she was like, "I used to enjoy a
Mhm.
margarita."
Mhm. So
He
creepy.
was like,
In
"Do
her
it,
skort.
mom." In her skort, she's just skorting around Cairo. Oh my god. Well, my dream for Kim is to get some rugs in that apartment, and,
Mhm. Mhm.
yeah. Can I tell you something that my husband said the nicest thing to me yesterday? Because 'Cause we're redoing our basement, we've got, like, new carpet coming and all this stuff because it's just
Yeah.
trash because of the kids, and, we've got a new couch coming, the whole thing, and he goes, "So what are we doing, like, with the side tables?" I said, "Oh, well, Eileen, our decorator, has told me to go pick up to order these 2 side tables from the store," and he goes, "Huh, I don't know if I like that." I said, "No, you're gonna have a different one over by your, grandpa chair, you're gonna have a different one." He goes, "You
Mhm.
just, like, run over to, like, Home Goods and pick something up?" I go, "Oh, you're speaking my love language." I was like,
Yes.
"But no, we're gonna get it from a real store, so it's not gonna fall apart in a month."
Can I tell you something my husband said yesterday?
What?
I Hold your rage, get ready. I
Uh-oh.
was watching Sister Wives, and he
Uh-huh.
comes in, and he looks at Cody Brown,
Uh-oh.
and he says, "Oh my god, what's happened to him? He's starting to look like that guy from Pearl Jam." And I turned to him, and
What?
very calmly I said, "You are not talking about Eddie Vedder." And he goes, "Yeah, yeah, yeah, Eddie Vedder." Mary Payne, I almost burned my house down with him in it. I
You
was
should have
so
said,
furious.
"We've had a good run, but now it's over."
I almost went Homelander, like lasers shooting out of my eyes, burning everything to the ground.
How dare you
Yeah,
besmirch the name of
yeah, yeah.
our Lord and
That's what
Savior,
I'm
Eddie
living
Vedder.
with. That's what I'm living with over here.
He's gotta know Eddie Vedder doesn't look I mean, Eddie Vedder did have long curly hair in the '90s, but my god, stop.
I know,
Uh,
I know, I know.
Tell him I'm upset with him.
There is no comparison. That's blasphemy.
That is disgusting. How
It's
dare you? That
gross.
upsets
Mhm.
me.
Mhm.
All right, so everybody, here at the end, I will remind you, welcome to Plathville. Season 5, starting with episode 2, will be on the $5 level, which is called Andre's Rage, because it's our low simmering level that's there all the time, just like Andre's Rage. Um, $5 level of Prime, which is Supercast and Patreon. You can click the link below to get to it, or you could just type it up, Pink Shade Podcast, go right to the website, click it there. That's where it's going to live. But because it was so special, we had to put it out. And everybody knows about Amye Archer and Little Miss Recap, but tell us what you're recapping over there anyway.
So on Little Miss Recap, we are doing Sister Wives, which
Oh,
is
Lord.
a ton of fun.
Uh-huh.
We're putting it on our Patreon, but I am putting like little bits of it on the free feed. And
Yeah, I
then
listened to that. Yeah.
Bunky, Amanda, and I are covering 90 Day to Last Resort.
Good luck.
And it's getting real good. And it gives us all we're like wannabe therapists. So it like, scratches that itch for us that we can
Yeah.
analyze that shit. And then,
Okay.
we're going to be covering Virgin River, which I'm so excited about.
I don't know what that is.
Virgin River on Netflix is fantastic. It's like cheesy, soapy. It's
Okay.
wonderful.
And you
We're covering
also
that.
just finished, And Just Like That.
I did. And we're doing a
And
Yellow Jackets rewatch. I'm doing a ton of shit
yeah.
over there.
Yeah. Okay. All
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Whew. Okay, guys. Well, remember, here on Pink Shade on Mondays, you can get Love During Lockup, which will soon be Love After Lockup. On Tuesdays, you can get 90 Day Before the 90 Days. Thursdays, I do Bravo Breakdown. And I'm putting out the episode with Emily and Kobe. That's this week. And I've got an episode with Deanna Chang. Lots of stuff going on. So I'm out for a week with this little medical procedure, and then I'll be back. And then it's going to be almost time for Real Housewives of Salt Lake City and Southern Charm, and just so many great things coming
And
up. So
on Hey Bunky, we're doing 90 Day the Other Way
that's right.
and
And
Plathville.
yes. And on the $10 level of Prime, thank you for reminding me. On the $10 level of Prime, I'm covering 90 Day UK
Mm-hmm.
with Katie of A Day with Dateline.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. That's it. We did all the business here at the end and at the beginning. So everybody have a great week, and I hope you enjoyed this bonus episode. Bye.
Bye.
Ads not read by me, Mary Payne, don't necessarily reflect the views of Pink Shade. If you'd like to listen to ad-free, you're going to go on over to Supercast or Patreon, and you can find the links to Pink Shade Prime at pinkshadepodcast.com.